right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Cabin Fever podcast. It's Brent Bailey. It's a cold day here at the Cabin Fever studios. It's cold and foggy and rainy, and just yesterday it was like 80. It's like weird. It's like we're at springtime. Oh, wait, we are. I've started to lose track staying inside all this time. Hopefully you're having a great day where you are. I have a great show planned for you today, and before we get into that, I want to tell you my guests today are going to be Dr. Sylvia Jordan and one of my best friends in the world, if not the best friend in the world. Keith Nachbor is going to be with us today, and we've got a lot to talk about today. So one of the things we started on the podcast when we started this a number of weeks ago now, this is going on to our fourth week. And first of all, I want to say thank you so much for your response to this. It's been amazing. We'd never expected to reach the amount of people that we've been reaching. But with all the platforms that we're on, which includes Roku and Apple TV and Amazon Fire Stick, we are so just tickled with the response. I'm going to throw something up on the screen right now. We have finally gotten all of our social media pages all up and out. And so if you would like to follow along on any of the social media pages, there it is right there, at the Cabin Fever Podcast on Facebook, at the Cabin Fever PC on Twitter, and at the Cabin Fever Podcast on Instagram. You can sure enough go and follow along with all of our posts and everything that's going on. Then we ask you to share the podcast. If you're watching on one of these platforms, you can absolutely hit the share button and let people know about it wherever you are. Hit the share button and put a hashtag for your city so that they can folks around where you are can watch and learn. This is just a break from all the negative that's going on right now, so that we can have a little bit of positive and a lot of good information for you right here. So now we are working on a YouTube channel. We do have one up. If you search the Cabin Fever Podcast, we are listed there. We haven't got our domain name quite nailed down yet. So when we get that, we'll pass that along to you as well. Now, we did start something a few weeks ago where we wanted to pass along some good news instead of just all the, it could be this long, it could be that long. And this is one that we have kind of stumbled upon, and that is the amount of folks that have recovered from COVID-19. It's not all just doom and gloom. There are some tragic things that have happened where people have passed away, and we are so sorry about that, and we are praying for their families. But worldwide, there have been over 440,000 people who have recovered from COVID-19, which is something that we should be meditating on as well as not just who all has passed, but how many have recovered. That is good news, and that's something that we hope that you're going to focus on. All right. So my first guest today is a former government official, city council person in Michigan, and I got to get the name of the city real quick. It is Southfield, Michigan. And she served on the city council, though, for 17 years. She has marketed over 2 books on how to do that. She's written 5 books, and we're going to be talking about one of those today. She's a pastor's wife, hosted a television show. She's got some philanthropic work, I'll get that out, philanthropic work that she does around her hometown, and so we're just really, really excited to have with us today Dr. Sylvia Jordan. Hello, Dr. Sylvia. It's so good to have you with us today.
Hello, Brett. It's good to be here, and thank you for inviting me. And I think this is a great platform that you're doing, spreading some good news while we're in cabin fever.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I'm just going to stop right here for a second, and I've noticed that we've got a freeze. So what I'm going to do, because this is a live broadcast, I'm going to call you right back, and okay. We're going to get you squared away so that you're not frozen, because that's the most important thing, because we want everybody to be able to experience the full things that you have to say today. So give me 1 second. That's one of the things about being on a live show is that you get technical difficulties and you just have to roll with the punches. And that's one of the things that we do quite frequently around here is roll with the punches. All right. So I think we got her going again. We're going to roll back up on here to get Dr. Jordan in here, because what you want to hear what she has to say. today. All right. Whoops. Nope. That's the wrong guest.
Hey.
I'll call you back in a minute.
All right.
It's okay then. Oh man. Oh, what a great Monday already, right? It's a great Monday. No matter what, we're going to roll with this and we're going to go with it. And there's nothing we can do about it now. It's definitely live. So, let's see if she's going to. There we go. All right, so she's coming up now, and as we get her on here, let's get that turned around, and
So it looks like I've got it. How do I flip that around?
Okay, yeah, go back up to your video tab at the top, and then click Use Landscape, and that's where we'll.
You know what I had to do? Because it didn't come up. Can you call me one more time?
Okay, we'll try it one more time.
Let's try it one more time.
It is what it is. When you're dependent on the internet, and so many people are using the internet right now, it's amazing that they were able to get this all squared away right around this time of our lives. And there's a lot of talk about the internet right now, and so. People have got all kinds of theories and things of what they imagine is happening for real, and so there we go, and there she's back, and let's get that on there. All right, and okay, well you're sideways on me, so let's go ahead and just turn it back the other way, and we'll go with it that way. So how's that? All right. So there is Dr. Jordan right there. How right now? We're going to try this again. You can at least we can see you blinking and your lips moving. So anyway, Dr. Jordan, thank you so much for being on the program today.
Hey, thank you, Brett, for having me.
All right, now
I just can't believe that you guys had 80 degrees weather last week. It is cold up here.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're expecting all the power to go out. Between 10 and 6, I think, this evening.
Oh no, that's no good. It's just kind of wet and foggy here. But anyway, listen, I've known you for a number of years. We met at one of Dr. Increase's events, and we knew that you did serve on the city council. But I had no idea that it was as long as it was. 17 years in government life.
17 long years in government, and it was very different, but I saw politics on a new level, a different level, being up close and personal with it. It was difficult. It was trying, but it was challenging, yet rewarding at the same time, because you were able to, put some local laws on the books to help people and to help their life better.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot of people are scared right now because of this is an unprecedented event that's happened in our country. And a lot of folks are like, well, I don't know how much I can trust. And as somebody who sat in the seat and has actually been somebody on the inside, what is the biggest piece of advice you can give to people right now as somebody who's served in public life and been on the government side?
Do you really, and this is not just a blank answer, but you really, when the Bible says to pray for those in authority over you, you really do have to pray that they will make the right decision and not the political decision. Because many times people make, and it's not really the right thing. It's not really what's on their heart to do.
Yeah.
And so you really have to be a strong person, a tough person, to make those decisions that are the right decisions and not the political decisions. I had one lady when I was serving on the city council, she asked me, do you always vote your heart? Is that the way you always vote? I said, that's the only way to vote, is to vote what your heart says, to vote your conscience, to vote what you believe in, to vote your beliefs.
Yeah.
And so, it's really, really critical that we pray for those in authority, because we have a lot of people in authority that are ungodly, that don't want the best for people, and it's all down to politics. And so that's what's a little sad about it.
Yeah. Now, as somebody that has sat there, the people are always, outside of the political side of things, that whether they vote one party or the other, but there's always that there's in the back of somebody's mind is, are they shooting with me straight? Is this really what's going on? And as we're praying for those people, would you say it's fair to say that we should be believing the best, even though we don't agree with everything that's going on?
Absolutely. And I would trust and I hope that those that are in the positions are giving us the truth. And sometimes the truth is not, it's not good, it's ugly. But if you're dealing with the facts, it makes it a little bit easier to swallow.
Yeah,
So I trust they're being open with us, being honest with us, so that we can judge our lives accordingly. And I do believe that they are, just from
yeah,
my experiences.
sure.
And these are tough times because when you're in a position of leadership, it's almost like you've got an arrow on your front and your back. So no matter what you do, somebody is going to say the good of it, but you're going to hear the negative
Yeah,
more than what the good is. And so I think that's the price of leadership, is that you're going to be criticized. So you got to have tough skin, but you've got to continue to make those decisions that are best for the whole.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so now you've written 5 books, but one of the ones that we're going to talk about today is this one right here. I'm going to throw it up on the screen. It's The Art of Juggling. Let me turn that off so we can get it. The Art of Juggling. Now, you can pick this up at sylviajordan.com, or it is available on Amazon as well. But there's a lot of people right now who are having to do this. They're absolutely stuck in between sitting for their kids and teaching homeschool and still working and still trying to make ends meet, and they are doing what your book is suggesting. So, just in a few practical steps, and we want people to buy the book, but what are some real things to keep in mind right now with juggling everything?
Yeah, I think one of the chapters in the book, it talks about seasons and understanding what season that you're in your life. And all of us are in the coronavirus season.
Yeah.
And so with that, the books have never been written, so we've got to do things differently. We've got to realize that this is a season that we're at home. And so you have to mentally adjust to that, because some people, my daughter is now home with my 2 grandchildren, and she's a working mom out of the home. And she says, "Ma, I don't know if I could stay at home all the time with the kids." But she's having to face that right now. So you're having to come up with new strategies to make the job a little bit easier. You're having to come up with new strategies to make the kids happy in her case, and to still teach them, and to still accomplish and work on the things that you want to accomplish. So I think the critical thing is that we're in a different season, so we have to recognize that. It may mean pulling back on some things. It may mean this is the time to refocus. This is the time to regroup. This is the time, really, if you've got some projects that you haven't been able to get to them, now is the ideal time to get to those projects that you've been pushing off and procrastinating on. So
You
I
know,
think you have to recognize what season you're in, but you've got to maximize the season. You can't sit and watch TV all day, and you can't, if we've got some gamers out there, play video games all day. You got to maximize this season, the
yes.
coronavirus season that you're in.
Now, I know it's funny that you say that, because somebody asked me, we've been staying at my parents' house during this time, and somebody asked me, "Are you having fun?" And I said, well, if doing all the things you hated doing when you were a teenager that I'm doing now is considered fun, then yes, I'm having a ball, because I'm painting a shed, I'm cutting the grass, I'm doing all the things I used to do, but I hated doing. But I know that this is, this podcast was birthed out of this season, and I know that carries tremendous weight with what you're saying, that people should be embracing things right now. But you mentioned maybe there are some things that you have to maybe let go right now or cut back, and I just wanted you to speak briefly, if you can, to there are some people that when you start talking about backing up or letting things go or dropping things off, they almost take that as a sign of defeat, and that's a bad or a negative. But sometimes cutting back actually brings increase with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you think about, my husband gives this example, which I love. He gives this example of a person that wants to throw a ball. And so you'll have a ball in your hand, and you'll get more strength of throwing that ball when you pull back and then you throw,
Oh, so
as
good.
opposed to just throwing right where your hand is. And so I believe that we're in that pullback season that's going to propel us and move us even further once we come out of this season, if we've taken advantage advantage of it if we've done those things to prepare us for the next season. So pulling back and almost like debriefing your life is good because we cannot stay in full throttle all the time. You know, you cannot be going ahead so fast all the time that you don't have time to pause. And I just firmly believe that this is a time that the Lord has given us, all of us, a time to pull back, regroup, refresh, restore, so that we can continue this journey of life that we're on. That's just my own personal opinion.
Yeah. Now, you and your husband pastor a church in Michigan there. Tell us the name of the church again.
Family.
Uh-oh, you cut off on us. Tell us one more time.
Yeah, so the name of the church is Family Victory Fellowship, and we're in Southfield, Michigan.
Family Victory Fellowship in Southfield, Michigan. And how long have you guys been there?
So we've been ministering at the church, pastoring for 28 years this year. It's hard to believe.
Wow. Congratulations. That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
Incredible. So now what's next for you? I know that you're not able to travel and stuff right now, but what's the next big project that you've got going on?
I've got a couple projects that I'm working on. I'm learning a new tool. I'm learning I'm learning the stock market, if you can believe that.
Oh, all right now.
And so this is really, really out for me because, again, my daughter has a degree in statistics and I barely passed geometry. So I'm learning some new things about the stock market. And I'm just learning something different, something I've always wanted to do. And now it's giving me opportunity to just learn about it. So that's what I'm working on. And I'm also working on a group that I started several years ago. It's called the Ultimate Women's Group. And it's a group of women, like-minded business women, Christian women, that are all in pursuit of the passions and the dreams that God has put on our heart. So we have a great network where we are encouraging each other, inspiring each other to continue to move forward. If it's writing that book, if it's developing that product, if it's starting that business, if it's doing what you've always wanted to do in life, now is the time to do it. So I'm helping and encouraging women to do that as well. And not only that, I still want to help those persons that desire to get in politics. So I wrote a book about that, but I'm really pushing Christians and believers to think about pursuing just getting involved in politics because we really need the righteous to be in authority.
Yeah, I saw that on your website, and we've got your website up on the screen right now. It was the 7 something about this. Let me see if I can play that again. But it was the 7 something of campaigning, 7 secrets to campaigning.
7 strategies for success.
7. That's what it was. 7 strategies to campaigning. And so all of these resources you're able to pick up at Dr. Jordan's website. It is Sylvia. Yeah, right. SylviaJordan.com, and you can pick it up there. And Dr. Jordan, thank you so much for coming and being on the program today. I know that it went by fast, and I hate the fact that we had a few technical glitches there, but thank you so much, and we want to have you back on to talk about your next big project whenever you get it everything cemented and really going.
Absolutely. Give your family a big hug for me.
I sure will. Thank you so much, Dr. Jordan. Have a great rest of your day. That's Dr. Sylvia Jordan, everybody, of SylviaJordan.com. And why don't you stop by and pick up some of those products for her, from her. They'll absolutely help you, especially that Art of Juggling book, where right now so many folks are juggling everything and trying to figure out what the next step is. And when people can figure that out, that's when the magic happens. They actually become the better person on the other side. And so even in the middle of something like this, it feels like everything is just crashing down on you. It feels like everything's so heavy. It feels like, how am I ever going to be able to do this and cook dinner and pay the bills? And the thing is if you can juggle the right way, it's always successful, and you're better on the other side of it. So right now, I'm going to introduce to you guys our next guest, and this guy, he and I actually host another podcast called the 1330 Podcast together. We work together at Rhema Bible Church and Training Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was the high school youth pastor. He was the junior high youth pastor, and he was the department head. And we had a blast for 11 years. Our offices neighbored. That's funny because that's his last name, but it's spelled a little different. But they were right next to each other, and we shared a door. And so you just felt like you were in the same room with each other the whole time. And there are just some people that God really knows what he's doing when he brings you together with him. And God really knew what he was doing when he brought me and Keith together. And so right now, I want you to welcome to the podcast Keith Nachbor, my best friend in the whole world. Keith, what's up?
Hey.
How's it going? Really good. How are you?
Fantastic.
All right. So what's it like in Tulsa today?
It is, right now, it is overcast, gloomy, cloudy, and about... It's not going to tell me now.
Wow, you're going to turn into Travis. You're going to turn into Travis Meyer and give us the whole forecast.
I was going to do it, but my watch flipped over to the wrong part, and I can't get it to go back.
So before we get into what me and you are going to talk about, Keith was with me at Rhema for all those years. Actually, was there 17 years? Was that your total track record there?
16. Well, I got there in 1994 and started school, and then graduated on Friday, and on Monday I walked into the office and started working there as one of the pastoral staff. But I worked there the whole time that I was going through school as well. So if you want to count that, I was there for
18 years.
Yeah, 16 is youth pastor though.
Yeah, and so you were there for 16 years and had moved down there to go to school from Minnesota and worked for the Target Corporation up there. But now you are a business owner and you have your own company entitled called Tulsa Driveways. We got it up on the website right there, and I noticed you were wearing your sweatshirt there, your swag gear.
Well, when we get done here, I'm going to jump in my truck and go run a couple of estimates.
Yeah, so
I had to be ready.
So
how long this was going to
go. So he's a business owner. His wife is a business owner. They have two wonderful kids. The crazy thing about it is Keith's wife, his name is Jody. Well, those of you who know me, that's my wife's name. We had an administrative assistant at Rhema, and his wife's name was Jody. And then it got even more cosmic than that. It was all of us shared June the 8th as a magical day. It was my and Jody's anniversary, Mario and Jody's anniversary, and it's Keith's birthday. So and it was just like it was all meant to be. So
are you saying that so we can get presents and cards sent to us?
Yes, of course. That's
okay.
Exactly. Everybody send those to the podcast here. So anyway, I'm setting up something here because Keith and I talked beforehand. We actually are approaching as much time apart as we spent together, and we worked together for 11 years. We've been apart 8 years.
That's hard to believe.
Isn't it? It's crazy, isn't it? But we're as close now as we ever were. We still talk sometimes every day. It's almost like because you get used to eating lunch with somebody every day or seeing somebody every day, and you almost feel like a whole when they're not there. And so that's what we really wanted to bring Keith on to talk about today was, there's a lot of folks that are separated right now. A lot of folks not able to just walk in the next room and see the co-workers or some of their family. I know some people haven't seen their family because of this for a number of weeks. And we just really wanted to talk about building a relationship when you're separated. And so I know that's one of the things that I learned from Keith when we were working together all those years. What happened? Did you pause your camera?
I got a phone call. I'm sorry. I apologize.
If you don't want to talk about it, we can just
happen again. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so Keith and I were just talking about this of how can you really maintain a close relationship when you're separated by this crazy set of circumstances that we're in. So what would you say? Number one thing, Keith, what would it be?
The biggest thing, when social media first came out, it was going to be the great equalizer for everything. It was going to draw everybody so much closer, and we were going to be able to, we were going to talk to these people we hadn't talked to for years and years and years. And what actually ended up happening is that, we post what we had for lunch or dinner or what we made, or we went on a date, or we went to a movie, or we were watching whatever on television, or our kid did something for the first time, and it kind of turned into our own People magazine. Mm-hmm. And so we know the minutia of everybody's day, or we know the highlights of everything that if I called you, you you post when you go to your kids' soccer games. Well, you would always tell me that if you hadn't posted it. But it's one of those now where it's like you see all of this stuff, so we don't feel like we need to call somebody anymore because we already know everything they've done.
Yeah.
So we know all of these things. The problem of it is we know, well, I know Brent went to a, boys had soccer game or practice or whatever. So, well, I don't need to call him. I know what he did. Well, I know that they went to wherever for dinner afterwards, or they had ice cream, or they had a game, and one of them scored a goal. So I don't need to call them and ask about that anymore.
Yeah.
Where the problem with that is now when we're doing all of our quarantining and social distancing and all of that, whatever you want to call it now, everybody's realized they actually miss people, and they miss the conversations with coworkers and people that maybe you didn't really care all that much about before. But to me, the biggest one is when you're thinking about somebody, call them. Pick the phone up and call them. And if they answer, have an actual conversation with them about something. Ask them what they're doing, even if you know about it. Hey, I know you made this for dinner. Was it good? What did you burn it? What did you do? But, because people ask all the time about our relationship. Hey, man, what's going on with Brent? And you have people ask you all the time, what's going on with Keith?
Yeah, what's he doing these days? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's from people that are mutual acquaintances. And I'm like, well, call him and find out. Ask that question. And I always think that's so funny with people where to this day, I'm working at somebody's house right now that knows both of us, and the lady asked about Brent. Now, it's one of those where it's a long time ago, and I think it's cool that she's still asking about him. But in the world that we live in, so many times we just ask about somebody. We don't take the time to call them. Yeah. And build that relationship and work on it. And this is the thing that everybody needs to keep in mind. Relationships are work. It's a lot. It's if whatever you value, if you tend it like a garden and keep the weeds out of it, you're going to have a good harvest with it. But how many times have you left a job and you think, man, I'm going to talk to these people for the rest of my life. And 2 weeks later you call and everybody's like, who? Who are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And part of it is that you have work in common, but you don't have that much else. The benefit that I have with you, and I tell people all the time, Brent's not my friend, he's my brother.
Yeah.
We're family. We're not.
That's right.
Our relationship goes beyond a friendship. And, but that's because we care deeply about one another's families as well.
That's right.
And that's part of a relationship in there. And you're not going to be that way with everybody. But I was sitting here before you called thinking about this, and we've got a group text message. There's, 5 of us in the text message group that we've got. And we're the luckiest people in the world because, I don't know, the youngest one is 40? Somewhere in there?
Somewhere in that neighborhood, yeah.
Like that. I'm the old man of the group at 52. So we've got everything in between that group. And I can call any one of those people on the phone and they'll answer.
That's right.
And if I called and said, if I were to put something up and send a text, say something happened, I need somebody here in Tulsa with me, I guarantee you that not everybody's going to show up, but one of them will.
Well, I can tell you Aaron probably wouldn't show up. So
I would guess he would be the one that wouldn't show either, but that's all right. But he's not here, so
people don't know who we're talking about, so I probably shouldn't call out names.
But no, but but I've got 3 or 4 other people that aren't in that group as well that I talk to all the time.
Yeah.
I got another group of people. I got a friend in Taipei that I'm as close with him as I've ever been with him.
Taipei, again, Taiwan.
Yes.
Yes.
And we message back and forth 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is, we're just good friends, and we have basically text message conversations. We'll FaceTime once in a while, but there's a 13-hour time difference, so it's a little difficult, but like I said, when we're doing this stuff, the biggest thing to me is you just got to keep reaching out and putting in effort.
Yeah.
And
It's funny because I was talking to some folks today. Actually, before I went on the air, we were talking about working out, things that are, it's weird. These people we're people that we've known for a long time, and but we're separated from the other. They're on the other side of the country, and
Yep.
it's easy when you don't see somebody every day to kind of just chalk that up and go, well, it is. I know. You and I went almost a whole year without seeing each other when I first moved
Yep.
to Florida, and when
Yep.
we ran into each other in, you called and you were in somewhere near Daytona Beach, and we met.
Yep.
We met in Daytona, and we went to go eat, and it was a little bit like we'd still talked a lot on the phone, but it was a little bit like, is this different? Is it weird? Is it what? It was awkward at first. But then in literally less than 3 minutes, we were right back into the pathways of, and I'm saying all that to say it's easy by distance or not seeing somebody every day to chalk that up and go, well, it's not worth going through that anymore. But I can honestly say, and I'm sure you would echo this, it is worth the work to call somebody when you're thinking about it. I mean, it is worth the work to communicate and to have just call and say, what are you doing? I mean, I was just thinking about you and wanting to spend time with you. I know a lot of folks do that dating wise. I wouldn't say that that's really applies here, but when you got when you got a relationship with somebody at work or your family members or whatever, it is worth it to go out of your way and say what's up.
Yeah, it's that first time that we met up after that year. It wasn't. Awkward isn't the word to use, but I remember at one point, I don't know, you know how you build Christmas up in your head?
Yeah.
Christmas is really in your heart, kind of a thing. It's not necessarily what happens. It's kind of the whole feel of everything.
Yeah.
And you want it to be a certain thing. And that first time that we met, I even told my wife I was a little nervous about it because I wanted to make sure that we kind of wrung everything out of it because I knew we weren't going to see each other again for a while.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation and you looked at me and said, we're just having lunch, man.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. It wasn't, let's not make it something that it isn't. Let's not build it up and try and do everything. Let's just do what we do.
Yeah. Let's just be. And
Yep,
there were plenty of
together.
times. Listen, Keith and I ate lunch together. I would say 97% of the time when we were in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
There were days that sometimes one of us would be at the hospital visiting the sick or whatever. But most of the time we ate lunch together. And there were plenty of days we would just sit at the table and nobody'd say anything. We'd just be reading an article on our phone or whatever.
Yep.
And nobody felt the need to impress or engage because we were together all the time. And that's what I guess what we're trying to say today is if you feel like you need to call somebody, call them, but don't force the issue. Just be. If you're friends at work, be friends at work. If that's your family member, you don't have to impress them. Just reach out, let them know that you care, and make it continue because you'll get out of it what you put into it. Fair?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The other one that I always tell people, because I called my brother the other day, and when he walked in, his wife made fun of him because he was on the phone again. And it was an actual thing about kind of the triple P loans and stuff that they're doing. He's a banker. And so I had some questions, was asking some questions about some stuff. When he walked in, he kind of started to laugh because his wife, he goes, I think, Car's going to throw something at me because I'm on the phone, because I'm always on the phone when I walk in the house. And, but it's one of those where I'm the caller in our family. I'm the one that calls my brother, my sister, my mom. My dad doesn't hear well, so having phone conversations with him is really difficult,
Yeah.
and turns into more of an exercise in futility and frustration, but I still talk to him. But sometimes you've got to be that connector. You've got to be that person.
That's right. Initiator. Yeah.
And you can't always be the person, well, I'm not going to call them this time because they need to call me this time.
Mm-hmm.
They have to call me. It's every other time. Well, sometimes life doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And the other one is there are times I call you or you call me or whatever, and it rolls to voicemail, and nobody sends a text message, I'll call you in a minute. sometimes they don't call back for 2 days.
Yeah.
Because you're pastoring a church, I'm trying to run
Guilty.
a business. Yeah, but I've done the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden it's like, crap, I forgot to call Brent back. So either that or you'll call back and be like, hey, what's going on? You know, sorry, I was just really busy. And it's like, for the last 48 hours straight, you were really busy? You know, no, but...
No, I forgot.
But, and that happens.
Yeah.
The other one I was going to say, you know, this is the other one, as Christians, how many times have you called me or somebody else, or I've called you or somebody else has called you and said, hey man, I was thinking about you. Now, you and I talk all the time, but there are times where I will specifically call and say, I was thinking about you.
Yeah.
Everything okay?
Yeah.
And you'll be like, man, I'm going through the ringer right
Mm-hmm.
now. Or sometimes you'll say, yeah, everything's good.
Yeah.
And but last week or the other day was, man, it was murder the other day.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have answered the phone if you called anyway, because of what I was going through. I just didn't want to talk about it, you know. And this is one of those where, to me, when it comes back to, especially in the situation that we're in, there's a lot of people that feel like nobody cares right now.
Come on now, that's good.
There's a lot of those people out there right now that they're not connected people. They're not. They may be shy. Maybe they're socially awkward. However you want to word it. Or there are people that are like, I don't need anybody. I'm good by myself. You know, blah, blah, whatever. I don't need a lot of people, but I need my family.
That's right.
I need my friends. But there are those people that are out there that they just don't have the confidence maybe to make the phone call just to say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah. I sure do miss everybody. Yeah.
You know, where they're lonely.
Yeah.
They're home alone. My wife works with a lady who, she's single. She didn't have anybody. Her family's not around here. And, you know, my wife will send her text messages. We made a meal for her and dropped it off at in her mailbox last night. And, you know, but if you're thinking about somebody, call them. Because a lot of times the Lord will put people on your heart, on your mind. And you don't have to call them and say, man, I just got done praying for you for like an hour or so. Are you okay? It's just like, man, I was thinking about you, so I thought I'd give you a call, see what was going on.
That's right. It's the old reach out and touch someone.
You know it.
And now it doesn't really cost anything. It doesn't cost.
No, it doesn't cost anything at all. Everybody's got their phone with them in their pocket all the time.
That's right.
So, you know, but that's the one that I think is really important right now, is just to check in with people.
Yeah.
Even if you're not close to them, maybe you'll end up with a better friend out of it.
Ooh, come on, that's good.
How horrible is that?
That's so good.
You know, and that's the one that, I don't know. I told you this earlier today. I read it it was on Twitter, and I don't know where it was. Hulk Hogan made the statement that the Lord has taken away everything that we've worshipped for him, the Lord. And, you know, because we don't have all the distractions. I mean, you know, you're in Orlando and Disney's closed, Universal's closed, SeaWorld's closed, everything's closed. You can't go anywhere.
Yep.
People aren't traveling to Orlando right now.
Yep.
And
there's no sports.
Nothing.
There's no live events. Yep.
Nothing, man. Nothing. And in a sense, he's right with that. And I look at that and think, man, what an opportunity, number one, to strengthen your relationship with the Lord, but number two, strengthen your relationship with other people that are in your life.
Yeah.
I think this is the perfect time for it.
It is, absolutely. Keith, we're going to have to get out of here because we're running out of time, but you know you're going to be back. Folks, this is Keith Nachbor. I'm putting up his stuff on the screen right now. His is TulsaDriveways.com. You can follow him on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Tulsa Driveways. If you need concrete and you're in the Tulsa area, this is the guy to talk to.
Hey, there you go.
And
glad. Or you can do my personal ones on all of those. Twitter's at the neighborhood, NACHBOR hood. And I'm on Instagram and Facebook as well. If you like pictures of concrete, go to the other one. If you want to know what I mean, go to Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Hey, man,
we are
good to
working
see ya.
on a return of the 1330 Cup podcast where Keith and I talk about leadership events for 13 minutes and 30 seconds. It's in and out. So we're working on doing that. See, this was our first test run to make sure this would work. So anyway,
It works.
It works
We'll
great.
do it.
All right, man. Take it easy. Go sell some
Yep.
concrete jobs, and we'll talk to you soon.
We're going
all
to do
right?
it. Have a
All
good
right,
one, everybody.
all right. Yep, that's Keith Nachbor, everybody, my bestest friend in the world, and he's on his way to get some work done. And so I want to thank everybody for coming and being on with us on the program today. I know we went over just a little bit, but listen, it's worth it to work on those relationships. And what Dr. Jordan said, these are seasons. This is a season that we're in right now. You need to embrace the season. Don't resist it. Don't try and fight against it. You're in it, so make the best of it. And one of the things you can do right in the middle of that season is to be reaching out and furthering the relationships that mean the world to you. All right. That's going to wrap it up for us on the program today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you come back and see us again. You want to be here Wednesday. I've got another great lineup of guests for you. I got Deborah Pege is going to be with me. She's a leadership expert, and she's going to be talking about crisis prayers. You'll want to be here for it. I hope you enjoyed your day today. This is Brent Bailey. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you get out and break the cabin fever. Have a great day, everybody.